This is just some of the stuff that we've seen here. Most of this is garbage. Nothing of any resale value for me. I mean, they got clothes and handbags, things like that, but I'm not into doing clothes and handbags. But it's always good if you do read, get some cheap books. I mean, for your personal use or for your kids, things like that. But I'm not seeing too much here. I did see a couple of things. I mean, these aren't anything special as far as toys, stuffed animals. I mean, I know there's people that resell some of this kind of stuff, and I don't see any value in it for myself. Things like that. But you got puzzles, which is great family fun. You know, so you can get cheap puzzles instead of paying the $10, $12 for new ones. You can get other ones, and take your chance if all the pieces are there. But this is the Goodwill here in Jefferson, North Carolina. I'm not trying too much here. I'm gonna hit a couple more thrift stores. So what we got going? The thrift store earlier, we was at Goodwill. Now we're at a little place that says that it's vintage and antiques, and it's kind of like a little combination of antiques, thrifts, and new home decor type of stuff. But I'm not seeing anything too interesting. I'm not seeing anything too well underpriced. I mean, everything seems to be priced pretty well what it should be, in my opinion. So sometimes you find them, and sometimes they'll have them priced right where they need to be, and they'll have 50% off, and I'll snag them up. This little Green Depression hobnail bowl is actually pretty nice, but it's missing the lid. You can see it has that lip right around here, and at one point it was more of a lidded decanter. See, here's another one with pink depression, same style, but again, there's no lid to them. One of my big top sellers is Green Depression or uranium glass, as we've seen last time, as well as pink carnival glass. Now the trick with pink carnival glass is if you want to see make sure it's pink, not pink carnival, excuse me, pink depression, hold it up to a light like that, and it becomes almost translucent, like it's clear. That's one way of telling good pink depression glass. So they have a set of 9 of these little sherbet bowls for $32. It's just a little bit over, but pink depression is one of the hot depression glasses that is going right now. And I did find some things at that Goodwill. We did do a little walk around after I did the filming. I did find some things, and I'll film that here at the end, and I'll show you what I got there, and we'll show you what little treasures we find. See, I stay away from any of these old hall and potteries and any of that stuff, because a lot of it was reproductions. There's a lot of reproductions out there that was reproduced back in the 80s and the 90s, and it came in Roseville Hall, and even some of the McCoy was all reproduction out of China in the 80s and 90s, and it still came in with the USA stamp on them. So not even experts in the field of that type of pottery can almost tell the difference. It takes a little while for them examining the glaze and everything else to get what was going on with that. So we're going here, and they have another little shop next door, and I'm going to hit over there. Well, look at here. Now we got ourselves a find. A jar full of buttons. Anybody want to buy a jar full of buttons for $20? Here's a smaller jar in case you didn't want that larger jar. at $10. But an assortment. What people will buy. It just cracks me up. I see that all the time going in auction. Jars of buttons and marbles and bauble dazzers, and just put it in a jar and sell it. See what else we can get. So there we go, jar of marbles. $20. Alrighty, hey, I lost some of the footage. I went into one antique shop and I lost some of the footage that was there that I wanted to go over, but that's okay because I did take some pictures of some things, and those pictures will be coming up here right after I give this little talk here or whatever. But there's a lot of reproduction items out there, and I wanted to show and demonstrate some of those pictures of some of those reproduction items, especially in the field of jadeite. Jadeite is like a green glass. You'll see it when the pictures come up. You'll see it. It's making a big comeback. It's one of the very popular items, but it also is a lot of reproduction items on that coming out of Taiwan. Well, it won't be coming out of Taiwan anymore because that factory burnt down about a year ago. So that reproduction, unless they find another factory that they can bring them in and import them in. But there's a lot of antique dealers that will put that stuff out there. You see, like, there's salt and pepper shakers and stuff like that. If you see anything like that has new lids and things like that, like, it's not just a repurposed lid and it's an old piece, like it's original 1940s, 1950s jadeite, because they have the similar patterns. They still have a lot of the similar patterns on them. Butter dishes and things like that. Those are inverted and they're not the same. They're reproductions. I show you in the pictures at this antique shop I go to, they do sell it, but if you look it over and you flip it over, you'll see the Taiwan stamp still on those items. A lot of places will peel those Taiwan stamps out, put them out there, call them jadeite and not reproduction jadeite, and try to sell them for a premium price. So those are things you have to be careful. Take a close look at the pictures. Also, the other thing is cast iron items, like cast iron doorstops that are in different shapes, or advertising pieces, or Coca-Cola pieces, and Esco oil. There's also Esco oil, not Esco oil cans, but the oil jars, which is another photo of things that are all coming reproduction from Taiwan, China, Mexico. They come up here in the United States, and a lot of people try to sell them as being original, but you can just look at the carrier on those little oil glass bottles. Now they may have tarnished it up and give some false patina onto some of it, but a lot of it they can't, and if you take a close examination, you can tell that it's reproduction. So you always got to be on the lookout for reproduction items when you're doing this stuff and know what you're looking for. That's why I stay clear of a lot of things that I know was mass reproduced, like especially in the 70s and the 80s. They're reproductions of stuff from the 40s and the 1930s. They even do that with some of the glass, depression glass. They'll make up little trinkets and they'll be in the same shade of color. That's why I carry that black light with me to check these things. You can also use the black light to check art pieces. You can also use it to check for pottery pieces, because the paint on pottery pieces, if they're old, will not react in any way with the UV light, where new pigments with the minerals in them, they do have some reaction to them, not like radioactive or anything, but you can see that you get some reaction out of it because of the pigments in them, because it could be the magnesium in the paint and things like that that were not done until after 1940, 1950. A lot of the older stuff, it does not have those type of minerals in it, so where you don't get that reaction. So take a look at those pictures, and you probably see some if you go antiquing. So always be on the lookout and be aware. I did get some China sets out of from the Goodwill. I got a great deal. The guy says they can't even sell them. You know, they had them up there, and I got like 2.5 boxes full of China, about 2 China sets, 2.5 boxes worth, because one's a pretty large one of a China. Nortec is one, Sheffield was the other. Nortec, I know, is dates from the 1960s to the early 70s. That particular pattern, and and I haven't gone through all of it and make sure what all is or isn't there. But for those 2 sets, I got it for like, he wanted to get rid of it because they have a lot of that stuff they keep around because they can't sell it. So I'm like, hey, I'll buy all this up. How much you want to? How much? He's like $15. So I'm like, fine. I mean, that's almost about what I would get them from auction, and these are pieces that I would buy because I'm selective on that. So I'll be able to churn those, put those in my booth, and probably on the Nordic set, I'll probably be able to get about 90-95 out of it, maybe a little bit more, depending on once I go through with it, go through it all and see what all is there. If it has a lot of the extra stuff like the gravy bowl, the gravy boats, any of the covered or uncovered vegetable bowls and serving platters or anything like that, those are all tack on. Those are great things to tack on. One's just a basic set. It's a basic 6-piece place setting of cup, saucer, dinner plate, and and salad plate. That's a Sheffield. I can easily get rid of that for like $40-45. So, and I get rid of them within a month or 2 in my booth, and that covers the, you know, and so that's good money. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but I'm not sitting. I see some places they sit on some of this stuff because they overprice it. They want to get top dollar for it, and they're sitting on it for years, and they don't sell it. That's not how you do it. If you want to buy cheap and resell at a profit, of course, as much as you can, and quick churning it, you know, within a matter of weeks or days. And some larger items, you know, may take a month or 2, but you got to keep that all in mind when you're doing this. And so we'll have more videos on this. I'll have photos of the China sets I got also on the end of this video. After we talk here, I'll go through those reproduction things, and then I'll go through the items that I bought and things like that. So today was actually pretty productive for not having to work. I mean, I had to replenish some things in my booth because I did sell 2 China sets, or one large China set earlier this week. So I need to replace that, and I always keep one in my booths, one in each one all the time, and I'm constantly having to replace them. So I constantly have to get out there and get it done. And I made a new contact out there in Jefferson on these China sets. So I'll be hitting them up every couple of weeks, seeing what they got. So with that, enjoy the video. This is OMG. Please like, subscribe, give me your comments. I'm going to keep doing more of these ones. I got other ideas on some things, like I'm going to like repurposing antiques or repurposing collectible items and doing things like that, because I may have to do some of that with one of these China sets. If it's odd pieces, instead of just tossing out the odds, I'll repurpose it and make something else, and I'll show you how you do that. And it's very easy and inexpensive, and it can add some value to your items. At that, this is Tim OMG. Watch the picture slideshow, and at that, check out the videos that will be up above, up in the upper right and upper left, and then the subscribe button. So give me your comments, and this is OMG. Peace out. Watch the pictures.